What if I told you the richest person in history wasn't Elon Musk? It wasn't Jeff Bezos, it wasn't Bill Gates, and it wasn't even one of the famous kings of Europe. In fact, the richest person who ever lived ruled an empire in Africa over 700 years ago. A man so wealthy that when he traveled across continents, he accidentally crashed entire economies. A ruler whose fortune was so enormous that modern experts struggle to calculate it. Some estimates suggest that if his wealth were converted into today's money, he could have been worth hundreds of billions, or perhaps even more. Yet despite his unimaginable riches, most people have never heard his name. This is the story of the wealthiest person in human history, Mansa Musa. Who was Mansa Musa? To understand Mansa Musa's wealth, we first need to travel back to the 14th century. At the time, Europe was still struggling through wars, disease, and economic instability. But far to the south, in West Africa, stood one of the most powerful empires on Earth, Mali Empire. Stretching across vast territories, the Mali Empire controlled important trade routes connecting Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. And at the center of this empire was gold, not just a little gold, an unimaginable amount. Historians believe the Mali Empire controlled a significant portion of the world's known gold supply. Gold flowed from its mines into markets across continents, and in 1312, a man named Mansa Musa became emperor. The word Mansa means king or emperor, but Mansa Musa would become much more than a king. He would become a legend. The source of his incredible wealth. Most wealthy individuals earn money through businesses, investments, or trade. Mansa Musa controlled something even more valuable. Resources. The Mali Empire possessed enormous gold mines, vast agricultural lands, and major trade routes. Every caravan carrying salt, ivory, gold, and other valuable goods generated wealth for the empire, and salt was nearly as valuable as gold. Today, salt is cheap. But in the medieval world, preserving food without refrigeration was difficult. Salt was essential for survival. By controlling both gold and salt trade routes, the Mali Empire became extraordinarily rich. And because Mansa Musa ruled the empire, he effectively controlled one of the greatest concentrations of wealth the world had ever seen. But the event that made him famous was still to come. The journey that shocked the world. In 1324, Mansa Musa decided to undertake one of the most important journeys in Islam, the pilgrimage to Mecca, known as the Hajj. What happened next would make headlines across the medieval world. Imagine looking toward the horizon and seeing a massive caravan approaching. Not dozens of people, not hundreds, thousands. Reports describe an enormous procession including soldiers, officials, servants, and attendants. Hundreds of camels reportedly carried gold, gold dust, gold bars, gold coins. Everywhere the caravan stopped, Mansa Musa gave away gold to the poor, to travelers, to local leaders, to religious institutions. His generosity became legendary, but there was one problem. He gave away so much gold that he accidentally reduced its value. In cities such as Cairo, the sudden flood of gold into the economy reportedly caused inflation. Prices changed, markets reacted, and the effects lasted for years. Think about that for a moment. Most wealthy people influence businesses. Mansa Musa influenced entire economies simply by spending money during a trip. That level of wealth is difficult to imagine. The man who put Africa on the map. Mansa Musa's journey did something else. It introduced much of the wider world to the power and wealth of West Africa. News of his riches spread rapidly across North Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. Mapmakers began including the Mali Empire on their maps. One famous medieval map even depicts Mansa Musa sitting on a throne holding a large piece of gold. To many people outside Africa, he became the symbol of unimaginable wealth. But Mansa Musa wasn't interested only in riches. He invested heavily in education, architecture, and religion. He commissioned mosques. He encouraged learning. He attracted scholars from distant regions. And he helped transform cities such as Timbuktu into major centers of knowledge. For centuries, students and scholars traveled there to study. While many rulers built armies, Mansa Musa built institutions, and that legacy would outlive him. Can anyone today compare? Whenever people discuss wealth, names like Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos often appear. Their fortunes are enormous. But historians face a unique challenge when comparing them to Mansa Musa. Modern billionaires own companies with measurable values. Mansa Musa controlled an empire rich in natural resources, trade, land, and labor. His wealth wasn't just money sitting in a bank account, it was an entire economic system. Some historians argue that accurately calculating his fortune is impossible because no modern comparison truly exists, and that may be the strongest argument of all. When your wealth becomes impossible to measure, you've reached a level beyond ordinary riches. Today, the names of modern billionaires dominate headlines. Their fortunes rise and fall with stock markets. But centuries before skyscrapers, stock exchanges, and tech companies existed, a ruler from West Africa accumulated wealth on a scale the world had never seen. A man whose generosity altered economies, whose journey amazed continents, and whose empire became a symbol of power and prosperity. The richest person in history wasn't a tech entrepreneur, he wasn't a banker, he wasn't a king from Europe. He was Mansa Musa. And his story reminds us that some of history's greatest legends are the ones most people have never heard. If you enjoyed uncovering this forgotten chapter of history, subscribe to Lost Epochs for more stories of lost civilizations, forgotten empires, and mysteries that textbooks left behind. Because history is far stranger and far more fascinating than most people realize.